Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever the case may be for you. Currently for me, it's about 7 o'clock, Monday evening. It is March 9th, 2026. Feels like it's in the teens, and we are here at the Alaska Central Railroad in Wasilla, my little railroad club that I'm a part of. And as you can see, there's no tracks. Well, there's tracks, they're just under the snow. So we're going to go for a little walk around and kind of see how things are looking here. It's going to be a while yet before we run any sort of trains. And what I'm doing here is just checking the place, checking the track. Really just checking to see how things are here. So let's go for a little walk. There's really not a lot of snow here versus other years. There's probably about a foot, really, that's here. Big frost heave right where I'm walking. You can almost see where the track is going, or where the track is. There's our pavilion under reconstruction. Ugh. These trees that are down. So bad. So for those that are interested, this is a 1/8 inch scale railroad, 7.5 inch gauge, little miniature Alaska railroad here. I call it the little railroad. That's what my family and I call it. But you know what? Looking at how things are right now, you could say this is almost a miniature Copper River Northwestern Railroad, you know, with the ground heaving and abandoned looking cars and old roundhouse, you know, just like a abandoned railroad in Alaska. So back in December, there was a lot of wind that came through. There was a lot of windstorms, and so it blew down a bunch of trees. This is one of them. You know, it's because it's a swamp here, swampland, and so the trees, you know, they don't have a root system that goes down necessarily. And we had a member, if you will, who said he was going to put all the train cars away in the roundhouse, and he didn't do that. Unfortunately, the tree came down. Thankfully, it didn't really do a lot of damage to the trains. Thankfully, but you know, here soon that's all going to have to get cut out. I don't know how far we're going to get today. I don't have all my winter gear on. That's weird. Getting over a bit of a cold, so my voice is probably going to be off. Yep. Inside the roundhouse there. And it doesn't look too bad in there. Of course, you know, the ground heaves. So the roundhouse doesn't look all that great on the outside. You can see where it's heaved up. Nothing you can do about that. Huh. That little structure, that wasn't there before. Got a few other videos of this place on the channel. Y'all ought to go back and take a look. I got some cool stuff. And little railroad, little trains. It's pretty cool. So this is a new track going across the swamp. New bridge that was built last year. And the track I'm standing here, used to go straight right along here. And there was a switch down there a ways. And the reason why we changed it up is so that you come down a hill and it's not so steep. Took the grade down from 3% to somewhere around 1.5. Made a nice curve going across the swamp, and just gives us some more track to play with. Want to go try to check out the botanical gardens if I can. Like I said, the snow's not that deep. Ooh, looks like I see some uglies up ahead. You'll see moose tracks. There are moose that live here. This is 18 acres, and it is fenced in, although critters can still get in. I'm not worried about the four-legged critters. It's the two-legged critters I'm worried about. Someone up on a tree. Oh, a couple of trees down. So we're on Denali subdivision. That's the track that goes up the hill to our botanical gardens. So we got a wood stove here. Well, a couple different sources of heat. Do have a wood stove. So this wood here, it's not going to be going to waste. That birch tree is falling over. It's only hanging up by that little spruce tree. There's the Chugach Mountains right there. That's Pioneer Peak. Over there, there's Twin Peaks right directly in front. There's some pretty cool views here on this little railroad. So we're gonna now walk on, this is Hurricane Bridge. It's the longest and tallest on the entire railroad. I think it's a little over 100 feet long, about 20 feet from the ground to the deck where I'm at. There's track down there. That's Black Lagoon. It's a little lake. This is all swampland right back there. And so there's water that moves almost like a creek of sorts. You know, really it's a lake that's got a thick earthen cap, if you will. So if you dig the sod and the growth off, you know, there's a lake under there. there's, can't really see it, but Jello Junction is, you know, right about in there. One of the points on the railroad here. So there's somewhere around 5 miles of track. It's probably between 4 and 5. I did walk and measure a good chunk of the railroad last fall, and I was somewhere around 4 miles, and I still had more to go. And of course, I'm counting spurs and everything else. Ooh, I see some big uglies. Some big trees down up there. So I know that there's folks that watch my channel that also are members of live steam clubs, or maybe they have their own backyard railroad. And in some places, y'all are able to clear the snow and run year-round. Well, the question has been asked here, why don't we run in the wintertime? It's Alaska, it's too cold. The fact that the majority of the track is over swamps, can't really run any plows or any trains over it. So that's a moose bed, right? So, you know, there's some of these little dugouts here. Those are for moose. You'll have moose that'll come through and they make a bed. And, you know, there's really nothing going on here at this place in the wintertime. So the moose feel pretty comfortable on hanging out here. And so there's the our gravel pit. We pretty much make everything here except ballast, though we could make ballast if we need to. That's Case Crossing, and there's Cheyenne Bridge, and other points along the railroad. Sorry, I'm just a little bit out of breath walking through the snow, going up a hill, and talking. You know, like I mentioned before, getting over a bit of a cold, and it wasn't a really long cold. It wasn't a bad cold, but you know, gosh dang it, can sometimes leave me a little winded. That's all right. I'm on the tail end, so obviously more wind damage. You know, that's something that we can cut down. So this is divide. There's a switch right about where I'm about ready to tread. And so you can go left or you can go straight. If you go straight, it's a gentler curve. Goes around and goes to the Botanical Gardens. I'm not going to go that route. I'm pretty sure y'all have seen that. If not, be sure to take a look at my videos. Miniature Rails of the Matanuska Valley, the Alaska Central Railroad, is a pretty good video. Shows the entire railroad in engineer's point of view. And you can't really tell, but that's a really cool birch tree. One that looks like a Y. I'm sure it's going to come down on its own here. It's been like that for God knows how many years. You know, it looks like the top broke off and then had a couple of branches and created kind of like a, you know, this really cool tree. So we got quite a few really unique, cool old trees here. As you can see, we've gained a lot of elevation. And straight ahead, you know, let's see if I can't make the zoom work. Oh, sorry. Not that good. But that mountain peak right straight ahead, that's Byers Peak. It's also known as Matanuska Peak, but if you say that around any of the old timers, relatives of the colonists in the valley, or, you know, just long-time locals, oh boy, they'll let you know. It's Byers Peak. This is Dry Creek. This bridge needs a little bit of work. It wasn't done quite right, so it likes to flex when you have weight. So these trains aren't light. You know, we got locomotives that weigh, you know, 1,800, 2,000 pounds. That's when they're all loaded up with fuel and oil and hydraulic fluid and all that. How do our trains work? Well, I'm gonna make a video at some point that goes in depth on how our little trains work. But today is not that day. There's Frenda down there. Oh man. Sorry, I had the zoom out. So that's Frenda down there. Little village. There's the mine and all that fun stuff. And here we go. And this is where the upbound main line, the one that we saw down there at Divide, comes across here. There's a diamond pretty much where I'm standing, and this is Petticoat Junction. There was a sign there. Wonder where the sign went. So this is our botanical gardens, the Memorial Botanical Gardens. Oh. There's a moose. Remember I said there's a moose that live here? Yeah, so there's a moose over there. But she ain't gonna bother us, so we're not gonna bother her. So anyway, this is the Memorial Botanical Garden. And oh, I think there's two. I'm kind of losing my train of thought here. Haha. Ooh, sign's all messed up. So this garden is set up as a memorial to past members of this organization. There's also a little trail system. That moose is over there on it. Wow. Wow, there's a lot of trees down here. So the thought would be to have like a nice little, okay. See the moose right there? I don't think she's too happy that I'm up here. So you know what? We're gonna turn around and we're gonna go away because that moose is not happy. So we don't want to be up here. So just show you from here. So that's the shed. That's where the picnic tables are. There's supposed to be a little garden over there. And yeah, so we're gonna head out. I can already tell there is a lot of trees that are down along here, especially there in the botanical garden itself. There are a lot of broken trees. So there's going to be a lot of cleanup here this year. Yeah. So a little lesson on moose. When moose get irritated at you and you're at a good distance away, because I was probably 40 feet from that moose when I said time to move on and head back. So she started licking her lips and putting her head down. She hadn't put her ears back, but she had raised her hackles slightly. Well, I mean, she hasn't seen anybody here for goodness knows how many months. And here I come waltzing in close to her bedtime. Speaking of which, y'all get your hours sleep that you lost. Daylight saving, such a joke in Alaska. I'm going to walk this way because I do need to look over here. So anyway, that moose, the way she was looking at me, I could tell that if I had continued on to the shed, even though I was a good distance away, that could have really pissed her off and she could have charged me. So that's the thing a lot of people don't realize is, you know, if you leave moose alone, they'll leave you alone. However, if you provoke them and they get pissed off, they can hurt you. You know, this video has been going on for 24 minutes. Someone could watch this and say, oh, this is a video about nothing. Well, Seinfeld was a show about nothing. So I can make a video about nothing too. Yikes. Big old spruce tree got knocked down. Of course, I'm far enough away where that moose ain't gonna do nothing to me. Would you believe there's people out there that would try to go over and pet that moose? Yes, it's happened. It's kind of a bummer. That was a really cool big old birch tree. You know, probably been here for 60, 70, 80 years. But that's what happens. Up here, trees are a little bit more healthier than, say, down there at the swamp. You know, and for you, for all of y'all that may be familiar with the spruce beetle and how much it's killed off trees, you know, you got a lot of really nice spruce trees, healthy spruce trees here. So, you know, it's not one big cycle. There's some cool things that'll be happening with the Memorial Botanical Garden, but I'm not going to divulge any of that until it actually happens. And this is about as far as I'm going to go, because if I go around and spook the moose, that won't be good. So that's, you can see where the bench is straight ahead. That's where the lawn is, the little picnicky area. It's all work in progress. All right. Well, I think I'm going to pause this because you all don't want to see me going back. So when I get to another area that I'm going to walk, I'll turn on the camera and talk a little bit more about nothing. Ta-da! Made it to another spot. This is the gravel pit. I'm on the road to Denali. So I'm off the track. Yeah, so, you know, I walked back the other way, and that moose, she ended up taking off the closer I got to Petticoat Junction. Then she ran along the fence and kind of hung out there, and there was a crossing past Divide on the upbound main. She was hanging out there, so I didn't decide to walk on that track. But she definitely wasn't happy that I was up there. But it's all right. I don't think I'm going to get a chance to walk the entire railroad like I was hoping to today. Got a lot going on in my day off doing town stuff, and unfortunately I went on not quite a wild goose chase, but I went hither and yon looking for a heavy jacket that was unobtainable. Anyway, so I got here late. That's all right. Got other stuff done, and this is pretty come down here this time of day. Look at all the pink and the blues. There's a tunnel, by the way, and the majority of the riding cars are hiding out in there. Frienda. So really, in less than 2 months, weather dependent, mind you, we could be out here running some sort of equipment and working on opening the railroad. This bridge is a little sketchy and needs some work, so I'm just going to take my time going across it. Needs a new deck. Structurally it's sound. Just the walking deck is, ooh, not good. Ooh. Oh no. There's some down trees at my shed. There's one tree that's down, but ain't no big thing by the looks of it. This is the material yard, Campbell section. There's the, it's not really a section house, it's the shed, but it's like a map. You know, on the map, it's Campbell section. So we keep all the track supplies, you know, rail, ties, building material, stuff like that. It's kept out here, and that shed is full of ties and signals and switch parts and, you know, stuff. And I do want to paint it this year to match the other railroad buildings, which is the dark green and white trim. And I would like to make some station signs, same as what you would see on the big railroads, especially up here in Alaska back in the day. This is Shea Crossing. There's a diamond right underneath my feet. There is a loop that goes around. And like I mentioned before, miniature rails of the Matanuska Valley, Alaska Central Railroad. That is a good point of view of this entire railroad. Point of view engineer. I had the camera sitting on the nose of a train, and we did a loop. So it's a pretty cool video. No critters down here. No critters down here. It's been a while since anyone's been back here. I can tell. Blown over tracks. We're not going to walk down too far. You know, you come down this hill, and then you start shooting across the swamp. Got Moose Slip Siding and Lake Victoria, which is just down there a ways. That bridge is that you can see in the background. That's the Tusculana. Some of the names of bridges and locations on this little railroad, the Alaska Central Railroad, comes from other real prototypical places on other railroads in Alaska. So, like Tusculana, that's a famous cantilever bridge on the Copper River Northwestern. You can drive on that today. Hurricane, obviously for Hurricane Gulch. We got Curry, Seward. Really, those are just buildings with the names. So the railroad's on the other side, pretty much straight across from me. You can kind of see a little bit of like a ledge way in the back there, and that's where the railroad is, or track is. And you can kind of see where Frenda is, and then on top of that ridge is where we were filming. You can see, at least I can see, the little water tower there at Petticoat Junction. So kind of gives you an idea lay of the land here. This is a good time of year to do tree removal. Maybe get a really good idea on any sort of alignments, track alignments that you're going to want to do, or you know, really anything like that, is because the snow is covering the track, so you're not really damaging it. And you can also see where it is. I'm just looking at some things here, and that's why I'm just rolling the camera back and forth. All right, well, we're going to make our way back to the station. Oh, there's a tree down right there that I just stepped on. So anyway, you know, it's March 9th, right? And generally by the end of April, in the last week, maybe the last 2 weeks, depending on the breakup, we could be running trains. Not publicly, anything like that, but, you know, hauling material to fix stuff, and clearing trees and debris, getting it ready. Getting it ready for the summertime. Huh. Man, just about anybody will be selling land around here. Good God. There's Whitney Loop. There's a siding right here. You can see where that's where the switch, that's where the switch is. That's the switch stand. So those deeper in areas where the wind's blowing it up, that's for sure. There's a shed. I haven't really talked about the shed too much, the two sheds that are here. But for the local viewers that watch my channel that live in the valley, Wasilla, Palmer, even those out farther, Ben and his brother with the shed guys built our two sheds for a really good price as quality work, quality craftsmanship, and those guys were awesome to work with. And if I needed to, I would definitely do business with them again and have sheds built by them or structures like that. So the shed guys, I think they're based out of Wasilla. Jacks Creek, that's Riley Avenue in Wasilla. Island Street is right straight ahead. I don't know if you can see, but right directly straight ahead you'll see, or you could see Hurricane Bridge. If it was a little lighter, you'd probably be able to see it. But that's definitely cool. Pioneer Peak and Twin Peaks. Definitely a nice evening. You know, it really is. There's a bridge right here. Alright. Well, there's just enough snow, like I said before, that, you know, you have to have your snowshoes, not snowshoes, but, you know, your boots. About a foot of snow here in places. So with that said, the doors to the engine house are blown with snow. Got snow piled up against it and whatnot. So not going to pop the doors open today. Oh, there's 3 down right there. Yeah, next time I do a video of the Alaska Central Railroad, hopefully it'll be springtime. That's what breakup is. That's what we call that here. So hopefully the weather will be nice and get to see some train action. I think I might be posting some older videos. I'm going to piece them together and make a few videos, post up of previous seasons here. There's the RV park. Come full circle, here's the station. Well, thanks for going on the stroll with me and checking things out at the little railroad. Hope you enjoyed the ramblings and maybe some facts here and there. Checking out the moose. And we will catch you on the next one. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Take care. Bye-bye.